Yes, welcome back. We want to wrap up our news review this morning. You're still watching for Breakfast on Citizen TV, and you now want to look at the story on page 9 of the Standard. And this is one of the big stories of the day. Parties begin to submit membership lists to IEBC. Electoral Commission will gazette names of candidates and dates of party primaries between March 30 and April 12th. And these lists that are being submitted now, the membership lists, are the same ones that are going to be employed by the IEBC in terms of gazetting. So if you're going to be a member of a party, it is between now and 19th of March. After that, you're either in or out. Now, gentlemen, we do understand, because now we have Deputy Party Leader ANC, we have the Deputy Party Leader Ford Kenya, we have the Party Leader PDP, and a member of the Jubilee Party. Now, we understand that parties have become a bit funny, and they're using means that are not, they're very crafty. And some people, because I do understand that you can find out if you've been registered to a party without your knowledge. And people are sending their details and finding out they've been registered to all manner of parties. Now, this does present a problem. But
yes, it does. And from where I see it, I think the Elections Amendment Act 2017 did shift the period you should belong to a political party from 90 days, 3 months, to 120 days, that means 4 months. Counting back from 8th, on 7th of April, you must belong to a political party, and it is a minimum of 120. So IEBC, purpose of neatness, have given us 19th backwards, because it's minimum 120. It could be more. Now they've given us 19th of March to belong to a political party. Most of our members do not have this information, to the extent that some of them are sitting in political parties that are not of their own choice.
Some are hoping to run.
Yes. What this means, therefore, you can get a certificate from PDP, for instance, and you find yourself in your Sisi Kwamimi party, for example. You cannot present your nomination. What this means is that the list of party members to be submitted to IEBC are the members of the party that will participate in nominating candidates. Yes. And those candidates must have those political parties in the primaries, party primaries. Now, if you are not in that particular list, and therefore you're locked out. Unfortunately, there's a kind of quagmire here, because Council of Governors went to court and sought to kind of disqualify that provision of party hooping. The matter is being heard today, and there's subject to discuss. But again, that may mean if we keep entertaining interferences from the court process, these elections may not run smoothly. I think IB should be given a chance to run, and political parties must also stop the mischief of trying to knock up Kalwale out of a particular party and give him a party that's not of his choice because they think Kalwale is going to beat them. Yes. So we must be on point, and I think political parties must really have an airtight thing that people shouldn't change members without their consent, because provision says you can only resign from the party by your own volition, by writing. How some people are knocked out, I don't understand. And therefore we need some bit of neatness in that, because some people may not find themselves in the ballot, not because they're not popular, but because the timelines have been exceeded.
This is an eye-opener, and for many aspirants who have not even bothered to check if they've been registered in other parties that they're not aware of, might find themselves locked out. In terms of Ford Kenya, are you even trying to educate aspirants under your party that they need to be members of the party, or even the larger support base of Ford Kenya, for example, those who want to take part in nominating candidates for the party, because they're the only people who can take part. You cannot have a Jubilee, a member of the Jubilee party taking part in the Ford Kenya nominations. Is there any education at the party level for people to understand that this law has to be adhered to?
There is nothing wrong with the IEBC timelines, and I want to thank IEBC for making it loud and clear that parties and members of political parties must observe those timelines. The area where we want to speak to is that we want IEBC to be aware that we have unscrupulous leaders of political parties, and the worst is Jubilee. Jubilee, because of this misadventure of theirs of bringing some, I don't know, is it a chip or something for membership, the one of
membership card,
the one of 20 bob, where the rich then hoard all the cards and the poor cannot have enough members. That misadventure is now a threat to the rest of the parties, because they go either through M-Pesa or wherever, and they get access to your ID number, and they make you a member of Jubilee and all manner of silly things. So IEBC should, as they implement those timelines, be mindful of that particular thing, that there are a lot of people who will be caught up in this mischief.
Yes. So there are people right now who are members of parties that they are not even aware that they were ever registered.
Yeah, thank you. I checked on Monday through Shemo Chodo, because it was a program like this in another station, and Shemo Chodo found himself in KNC. I found myself in Jubilee.
Yeah?
Yes.
So as it is, you are registered
as a Jubilee member, but I will make the correction before Wamatangi reacts. Number 3, the member, the Honorable Mudomi from Tharaka Nithi, he found himself partyless just by checking within just a few minutes. I do not want to blame Jubilee on this particular one, but I think there must have been somebody who was very mischievous somewhere, either within Jubilee circles or elsewhere, where they make you a member of the party, and it is up to you to move away.
Yes.
And I've realized there are a number of people, if you are a Kalenjin or a Kikuyu, they assume you are Jubilee until you prove otherwise. This is something that we need to correct. Number 2, I also expect IBC to do the following. 1, clean the register and tell us this is genuine register. We do the normal inspection and confirm our names.
That's a voters register.
Voters register. Why am I saying that? A month ago, we realized a number of people were co-registered, over 129,000 people. And I think IBC should be telling us how much have they cleaned of that. Because if you use my identification to register somebody else, like Omingo Magara, under the same identification card, it means you are almost disqualifying the two of us. But the crime is not mine. Somebody must have hooked myself onto Omingo Magara's whatever and registered him. That is something that we must clean. I'm saying this because we want this process to be clean, so that the product of this process is also clean. Now, I'm worried, and given my little experience, I'm worried that the temperament that is building up in the country is likely to precipitate a lot of disaster. Because you see people are getting annoyed, the president using words he should not be using, other politicians making statements, and if we are not careful about this, and I go to a polling station, I realize my name does not appear in the party that I'm part of, or the 2,000 people who are supposed to sponsor me to qualify to run for Senate in my county, they are saying not to be in my party. It means some people will be disqualified on the basis of that.
Yes.
So it is something that is so important for us as a country.
Yes. You're in ANC, you're the deputy party
I'm
leader.
deputy party leader, but
you're hoping to run on ANC.
Yes.
But now you're,
and you're so happy.
if at all you're not realized or found out that you'll be registered as a Jubilee member, and in the next 10 days you fail to do so, then what happened?
What happened?
I would have been disqualified from running.
What happened? I think, let me correct that. What happened? Those parties that merged, if you were by chance with the URP, TNA, Ford people, anybody who matched with those parties, they are automatically transited to Jubilee. But what we are
I think on this one, Fred.
Just a moment, Senator. Because
what I did, because I'm very suspicious of Jubilee, I didn't check. I wrote officially
so you left
to the Register of Political Parties. I told her that I'm leaving UDF with effect from today and joining Fort Kenya, and I demanded that he responds to it. So she responded to me and confirmed that I'm now,
and that's a process that everybody should
do. You should do it in writing
and get a response.
In writing as well. But it is not mandatory. Those who are cautious are the ones who do it the way I did. But to the rest of the people, and I want to request the chairman of IEBC, it is serious. ID numbers of Kenyans are now public because they are being used at M-Pesa shops. So Jubilee in his usual misadventure to rig elections, they go sit in every M-Pesa shop and they say which ID numbers you have. You're given an ID numbers, they mess with those ID numbers.
I think first I must accuse you, Fred. You know, because you have skipped me twice. First, to give them an opportunity to fix me and because you wanted them to create the narrative, and you give them a second chance to farm it. but it is true. I'll tell you, you know, good friends like Mheshimiwa Kirwa should not be surprised when he finds his name in Jubilee. Anyway, he should be telling the truth. He's been with us before. So, you know, but I'll tell you what's happened in my view. One, this mess of people finding themselves in different parties, this occurred a long time ago. Remember, when political parties were registering their offices all over and were supposed to go and submit to comply, you are required to open so many offices within the whole country and also show support within those regions by assigning particular members. And your candidates who would be running would also require to demonstrate support. If it's a presidential candidate, so many number of people. And what at that time political parties did was they would go and take any person in their county and register them and go and submit the documents. Many of them without their consent. That was then. That record was never cleared out. And so right now, when you go to check in, you find that our good friends who are with us that time, like Kirwa, will still find that he's still in Jubilee. If you find Boni Halwale, the reason why Halwale had to go and specifically instruct that remove me now from UDF is because that time UDF was with Jubilee. And he would have also found himself with Jubilee. On the Jubilee list. And also I want to assure my friends, there is nothing wrong. You know, the law of proportionality demands that when you have a bigger mass on this side and a smaller mass, the chances that you find yourself where the mass is higher are also higher. So when you find the law, what? So when you find, what did you call it? When you find that, when you find that these gentlemen find themselves in Jubilee, because Jubilee is a bigger party, it's got more members, so wider coverage, bigger regions. So,
but now it is more crucial for Omingo Magara. It is more crucial for those hoping to run for elective seats. How is that?
Can we please separate these? The voters register is yet to be closed for purpose of inspection and correcting. Where we are between now and 19th of March, please note, it is party membership, which you must tidy and belong to that party. Of course, I'm assuming that things remaining the same, that the courts will not destabilize the amendments as they were. That you must belong to a political party which you intend to run, and you must have a minimum of 2 people belong to the same party to propose and second you. The other many of them can be voters, but you need 2 minimum. And what happens if you may belong to a political party and you may lack to find 1 member to propose you if you have not done the counter checking? And
so you have to, apart from you have to ensure that the people who are proposing and seconding you are members.
If you're independent, they must be partyless as well. So that's why political parties are so key in this process, so that as you clean your list and the candidates for nomination, you must prepare your candidates. And I can tell you, the only parties that can do this, not the ones with masses, there are a few small political parties like us who have personal attention to our own clients. So you must help your members to clear that, otherwise you may be having a problem and not feeling.
And that's why I'm saying we're lucky to have a party leader, PDP, and deputy party leaders for Ford Kenya and ANC in terms of educating aspirants who are hoping to run on your party tickets. Have you done that? Even in as far as what Omingo Magara is saying, that even beyond themselves and their membership, that even the person who is proposing and seconding you, you have to ensure that their membership is correct as well. Have you even started with that? Because now it's starting today till March 19th. It's only 10 days.
Can you say something?
Yes.
Yeah, the process in ANC is ongoing, and even we have a retreat for the next 3 days. We are taking our election board through the same, so that they can also do slightly much more. as they receive the documentation from our candidates. So we are doing that. But also more important as far as NASA is concerned is that there is a bit of concern on a number of members. They are worried that they are going to be locked out of the process, and I just wanted to inform them that the political parties forming NASA, they are given preference in terms of the situation on the ground. They will inform us what they want in Kakamega.
Are you talking about now the joint
nomination, joint party primaries? Yes, some of our members are already worried, and I just wanted to assure them that each political party shall have the last say as far as their locality is concerned.
So it will not be a one-size-fits-all? We
are going to listen to the ground, and the ground shall inform us on what is required in Kakamega, what is required in Trans Nzoia, and so forth.
Okay. Back to the issue of party primaries, party members lists and education of party members and aspirants. Ford Kenya, how far have you gone?
Yeah, we're doing very well. We have decided to centralize the source for nomination papers for our aspirants, so that when they come to the office to pay at Simba House on Oledumbe Road in Kilimani, when they come to pay, they are educated on what you've just asked. Then we have also set out, starting from day after tomorrow, we have created clusters where we shall meet aspirants at the grassroots. On 10th, it will bring the cluster of Trans Nzoia, Bungoma, Busia together. Then on the 11th, it will bring the cluster of Kakamega, Vihiga, Kisumu, and so on and so forth. We've done this to make sure that we protect our aspirants. On the important issue spoken to by Kirwa, I would like members of Fort Kenya and members of other constituent parties to know that NASA has not decided on joint nominations everywhere. This is something that is being peddled by the media which is controlled by Jubilee, with an intention. I didn't say citizen. I didn't say citizen. I said media.
But you grouped us as
you'll be free to say with the exception of citizen, because we read it in their paper. Yes. They want to disenfranchise members so that good candidates can run away from our parties, thinking that they'll be subjected to adjourned nominations that they don't want.
Okay.
All we have done is we've done mapping, and as Kirwa has said, the area where we shall have joint mapping will be by concurrence of all the constituent parties.
So before all parties agree,
then people go to open contest.
Okay.
Yes.
And for PDP, where I sit at Hurlingham headquarters, we actually take up candidates through the process. And by the way, the parties have a responsibility to also clear candidates who also comply with Chapter 6. Because remember, it's the parties that are going to be able to forward a candidate, because when you put garbage in, you get garbage out. But most importantly, democracy is expensive. And people lost lives and blood for purpose of getting democracy. I find it unacceptable that people can shrink democracy from where I sit as chairman of CMD, that you want to shrink it and give preferred candidates. In fact, the president or the winner of these elections, I dare tell you, will come out, will be won or lost, depending on how they hold those parties that do not have presidential candidates. By saying you're either with us or against us, I can tell not only primitive but arrogant. You can lose by saying you don't need Magara's vote, who has got no presidential candidate. You will lose.
A question to your PDP, where does it appear to be leaning?
PDP is an independent party. We haven't joined any coalition so far, and we are negotiating. Anybody willing to see and give a package of acceptance, we shall work there.
So
and unfortunately, from where my brother sits, they have already locked their doors and saying you're either with us or against us. I know that I'm joining quickly where they are, because they're also saying you can come in and we can put you in a shop block. I'm not going to come in and compromise my candidates. I'd rather be where I am, independent.
Finally, Wamatangi, Senator Wamatangi, on this issue of party membership and the lists that are being submitted, how far has Jubilee gone? What method? Because now, as you said, you have quite a number of members that you've recruited as part of the party?
The first issue that I think would have been fair to address so that Kenyans understand, and we can also pick out where real issues are, is when you're asking, there's big guys here, you know, the deputy party leaders and our party leader here also, that for the parties that, and you know it's a requirement of law, that the parties should have a national representation, a national outlook. Like the party for my brother Halwale, which has the chairman in Bungoma and the vice chairperson in Kakamega. Amani, a national congress, where it has the chairman in Vihiga and the vice chairperson in Trans Nzoia, and my brother, I've not looked at very closely. Could be a lone ranger in Kisii. But in terms of the national representation and outlook of these parties that they represent, what are they saying to Kenyans? You know, advancing that one, we are a political party on our own, we'll be going it our own way. We are not saying we hold joint nominations, although I'm coming there. They need to address that because we'll be shortchanging Kenyans if we continue to say that indeed we have got political parties that we can merchandise to Kenyans, but they are actually small tribal outfits that only are intended to advance individual ventures into office. I'll tell you why, and this is my second point. The reason why you're finding right now we have this standoff or this gridlock in NASA, and I was also hoping that this is where you would be magnanimous enough, especially my brothers here, to admit the truth, and also you gentlemen in the media congratulate Jubilee for doing what nobody else was willing to do. And I want to let me say this. Just a minute. Let me make my point. Let me make my point. Fine, if I find, but let me first make my point. And even if I sacrifice the other one, let me make this one. I will sacrifice the other one, but this one I need to make. Because you see, as Jubilee, you've not given us fair treatment. Why? See, when these gentlemen have been unable to completely agree on how to go for nominations, it is quiet. We as Jubilee, we decided to walk the talk and show that we are patriots, that indeed we are ready to sacrifice personal ambition and hold yes, one nomination where we are all saying that if we lose, we are ready to go home. Now look at what has happened in NASA. These gentlemen are saying we do not agree. We need to wrap up the list. So my point was very simple. That let us call true political parties because they have a national outlook. Let's call tribal outfits all there. Okay. Yeah. Senators and aspiring senators, unfortunately our time is up. I'll need to give you 30 seconds because that's all I can afford right now. We need, others will be cut off from air. 30 seconds each to respond to that, and probably say why you're not attending the devolution conference, yet you're senators, and this has to do with the county. Senators and aspiring senators. Let's start.
One, I was not invited to that conference, and you just don't break into a meeting. Number two, I get worried about him. He does not understand ANC. One of the other deputy party leaders comes from Garissa, another one comes from Coast. I come from Rift Valley. My party leader comes from Western. Please really learn out of just for your own interest. Number two,
Western and
Western, Rift Valley, Northeastern, and Coast. Yes.
Western and Trans Nzoia and Vihiga. But just like
no. I think we need to give him some tuition in political game plan. NASA is a coalition of parties. Therefore, each party must maintain its own independence. We are not saying we are not going to be subject people to nomination. In ANC, I'll go through the nomination. Finally, I just wanted to say, because belatedly, yesterday was All Women's Day. I wanted to wish the women of Kenya their day, and also say even the drought that the president is about to be annoyed with is something that you see women with children, and it tells you the role women play in the family and also in the welfare of this nation. Thank you.
Thank you, Barakirwa. 30 seconds, Senator Halwale.
In conclusion, the strike by lecturers, the strike by doctors, and the expected strike by teachers, now that the teachers' money that was promised has not been put in the budget, it is all because of how do we manage our budget. I would like all striking people to stand firm and know that our budget is being mismanaged, as the president lies to Kenyans that he doesn't have enough money to pay them. The budget for the office of the president has increased 10 times from the time Kibaki left office with Raila, and this year they have put enough money, 9.8 billion for the office of the president alone, so that they can upgrade State House, state lodges, create enough money for the First Lady's programs, and spend 1.0 billion on swearing in of the president. And yet, from experience, in the last swearing in of the president, we spent only 279 million shillings. They are stealing from us. Finally, I want to say congratulations to my friends and fellow fans of the greatest team in the world, Barcelona Football Club. Early this morning, they created history by making an unprecedented comeback when they defeated Paris Saint-Germain 6-1.
Okay. Most importantly, democracy from PDP. We are truly a national party, and we are welcome opening up to our engagement to anybody else at Hurlingham. And I'm telling Mama Tangi that I'm not alone on a single man show, and even if I was a single man show, that vote counts, and you lose or win elections through that one vote. Number two, it's also important that to know that political parties play a critical role, and we must respect democracy. Do not shrink it. I was never invited to the governor's conference because I sit at the center of my democracy board, a critical component in terms of governance of this country. I was not invited. Unfortunately, as I said, I can't get crashed. I can only walk in and invited even when I become senator of KC County under PDP.
Oh yeah, very quickly. Just to remind my colleague Bonnie that in the last dispensation, the office of the president stood alone, and now it's called the presidency. And it comprises of several offices. Just to remind you, in case you've forgotten when you're talking about the budgeting, and to my brother Omingo Magara, your vote and your votes, we need them in Jubilee. You've always been our man. Karibu sana. Lastly, on the devolution conference, you know, I really wanted to attend the devolution conference, and my message was going to be one. Unfortunately, I was unable to. I wanted to go there and tell my colleagues or my friends, the governors, that if, as they exit office this year, they will get a chart to mark where devolution is, they should not and cannot mark it above 5 out of 10. And the reason is that we can only tell Kenyans that we took a trial at devolution, but in many fronts, in spite of the Kenyans' willingness to make it succeed, it has not succeeded. There has been too many roadblocks, too many false starts, and most of it is on those that we have allowed and given the mandate to run it.
Unfortunately, Senator and all the senators in this panel and the aspiring senators are staying away from the devolution conference happening in Naivasha for their own reasons. Some were not invited, others have simply decided to stay away. Now that wraps it up for News Review this morning. Very many thanks to Senator Kimani Wamatangi from Kiambu County, Bonomingo Magara, Party Leader PDP, Boni Halwale, Deputy Party Leader Fort Kenya, Senator Kakamega, and Kipruto Rapirwa, Deputy Party Leader ANC, helping us look at the headlines this morning. My name is Fred Indimoli. I need to hand you over to my colleague Joey Mupengi to continue with the show. Remember, the hashtag to use is Power Breakfast. For me, it's good morning.